You gonna feel all this we gotta do? Look, hey Tank, we gonna go 35 for 12.
Many years ago, legendary champion Marvin Hagler remarked that it's hard to get up and do road work at 5 a.m.
Tighten up your core.
when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. In other words, when you're hungry, when you're chasing something, the grind comes natural.
Good.
But once you're comfortable, that fire can fade.
Prime Video just dropped new footage from Gervonta, Tank Davis's 4th day of training camp, and it delivered exactly what fans were hoping for. This wasn't just any gym session. The video showed a fired-up, focused Tank, training with more drive, energy, and determination than we saw in his first fight against Lamont Roach. It's clear he's coming back stronger and hungrier than ever.
10, 9, 8, 7, power, 6, 5, power, 4, power, 3, 2, one more. Good. Under here. Roll under the bed. Job.
That lawnmower, that's it.
This isn't just another fight or title defense. This is the return of Gervonta, Tank Davis, he said at the start of the video, and you can see the difference. Tank's routine has changed completely. Now, his days start with an early morning jog and end with another run in the evening. In between, he sticks to a strict, well-balanced meal plan designed to give his body exactly what it needs to perform at its best.
For a very, very big moment. What is your normal day-to-day like at this time of a camp?
I'm also a night person, but I might go to sleep probably around like 3 to 4. Probably wake up probably like 11, get my run in, and then eat, probably lay back down, and then wake up probably like 6 or 7 and get my night workout in.
Damn, so you're doing 2-a-days at this point.
My night workout, yeah, I'm doing 2-a-days now, running in the morning and again later. Tank shared, for the first time in a while, he's focused on building muscle to boost his strength and power. As the WBA lightweight champion, Tank admitted he was caught off guard during his last fight when he realized his punches didn't have the usual impact on Lamont Roach. That moment lit a fire in him. Now, he's determined to come back stronger, not just in power, but in every part of his game. Tank knows that to beat Roach, he has to be better in every way.
Please, man, let's go.
I know I can beat him, I've done it before. This isn't about him. It's about me, Tank said. I just need to do everything better. That mindset is driving every part of his training. Everything is being pushed to the next level. One big change? His sparring sessions. He's now doing 15 rounds with each sparring partner, and each round lasts a full 5 minutes. It's a serious step up in intensity, all designed to sharpen every part of his performance.
Stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The goal behind all this? To build up his endurance and overall athleticism. Gervonta, Tank Davis is also putting extra focus on his footwork, making sure his movement is smoother and more controlled, especially important against Lamont Roach, who's known for staying in the pocket and picking his shots carefully. Along with that, Tank is spending plenty of time shadow boxing, hitting the mitts, and working the punching bags, all part of a focused effort to come back sharper, faster, and stronger.
How your balance felt like?
Interestingly, the biggest and most noticeable change in Tank's training, and possibly the most important, is the return of his longtime head trainer, Calvin Ford. Having Ford back in his corner could make all the difference this time around.
Ill will isn't enough. Thus, the heightened intensity in camp.
Turn it up, turn it up. Oh, good rim, good rim. I like the way y'all jump right back in.
One of the most noticeable, and possibly most important, changes in Tank Davis's training camp is the return of his longtime head coach, Calvin Ford. Ford was absent from Tank's corner for the first time during his fight against Lamont Roach, and it's hard to ignore that Davis ended up losing that match. While some fans speculated about the absence, Davis was quick to shut down any rumors. There's nothing wrong, Tank said. Calvin's back in the gym now. He just needed to come back to help make everything better. Coach Barry's here too. Everyone's here, and we're all focused on the same goal. Fans were used to seeing the trusted trio of Gervonta Davis, Calvin Ford, and Kenny Ellis, a team with a bond as iconic as Tyson and Cus D'Amato, or more recently, Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, even Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. So when Barry Hunter was the one in Tank's corner instead, it left many supporters wondering what really happened. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Calvin Ford offered some clarity. The bout was Davis's second pay-per-view fight under PBC and Amazon Prime Video, held at the Barclays Center. Alongside the main event, the card featured exciting undercard matchups, including 2 light welterweight title fights. Ford, who has long respected Lamont Roach's work ethic, recalled how both fighters, Roach and Davis, used to spar often when they were younger. With Davis coming from Baltimore and Roach from DC, Ford admitted he looked forward to seeing how Davis's training would play out in the ring. But why wasn't Ford in the corner? People are reading too much into it, Ford said. We're not changing anything. I just stepped back a bit. He emphasized that the training structure stayed the same, even while he wasn't front and center. The interviewer made it clear they weren't suggesting any kind of falling out, just curious whether the time apart had actually strengthened their bond. No, Ford replied, he came to check on me. Said, slow down. I'm worried about you. Ford explained that he spends a lot of time mentoring amateur fighters, something that brings him peace and balance. And while he wasn't physically training Tank during that camp, he knew where Davis was, what he was doing, and felt confident that the work was still getting done. Being apart gave both Ford and Davis a chance to appreciate their connection even more. When Ford returned to the gym, he could tell Tank missed him, and he missed Tank just as much. Nobody is exactly sure what caused the break, but that might explain why things felt a little off before. Coach Barry Hunter echoed that sense of reassurance. Calvin will be there. Coach Barry will be there. Coach Boogie will be there. And Kenny will be there too, he said in an interview. While Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis might not be in Tank's corner for every fight, the rest of the coaching team is still right there with him. It's not a big issue. Hunter also reminded fans that changes in Tank's corner aren't new. He's been with Tank since his amateur days and early career, so he knows the team well. He pointed out how the internet often spreads rumors and guesses without the full story. Above all, Hunter stressed, Tank is like family to them. It seems this was just a temporary shift, nothing more.
We did how many rounds? We probably did at least like 8 straight.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8 too?
Yeah.
That's good. You're not in bad shape.
Yeah. Just got pick up my
What happened on March 1st surprised almost everyone. When Gervonta Davis stepped into the ring against Lamont Roach Jr., nearly everyone expected the Baltimore fighter to score another big win. But when the final bell rang, many fans were left disappointed. Putting aside the controversy that followed, what stood out was a Tank Davis who seemed distracted and far less aggressive than usual. If you've seen Davis's recent interview with Pound for Pound, you might add one more word to describe him: burned out.
And Lamont Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's gonna be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight, and I think it's a great.
The light heavyweight champion joined former UFC champions Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo on their popular show's latest episode. They talked about everything from Usman's last fight against David Morrell to Canelo Alvarez, but when the topic of Gervonta Davis and his March 1st fight came up, the conversation got more serious. For David Benavidez, it wasn't the controversy over Tank taking a knee or the fight's decision that stood out most. What worried him was how Tank fought. What I didn't like, Benavidez said, was that Tank was letting Lamont Roach get too comfortable. He was giving him way too much respect.
Talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Now, do you feel like there's unfair criticism because of Lamont Roach not being as known of a fighter
To Kamaru Usman, Tank Davis seemed a bit distracted in the fight. But to Henry Cejudo, the concern was bigger. He wondered if Davis might be finished. Still, Usman said he was mostly okay with the final result, a majority draw. In the fight, Tank looked distracted, Usman said. We all know he's a beast, and there were moments where he showed it, but overall, he just seemed a little off. Cejudo took the chance to compare Davis's situation to the legacy of his former mentor, Floyd Mayweather. He suggested that maybe Tank was following Mayweather's path, staying safe and avoiding losses rather than taking risks.
He wasn't buzzed. There was, I don't know what round it was, and he fell in, pulled out, and Lamont Roach countered what I believe was the right hand, right? When he came back to the corner, he said, he caught me one time. And definitely he felt that shot. But for the most part, other than that, he thought that he could see most of the punches coming. That was the only punch that got his attention. Yes.